Mike, good evening, everybody. Mr. Lukman, good evening, everybody. I welcome you all again. Thanks for the last opportunity to engage you guys. I really appreciate it. And we will continue from where we stopped last time. And I hope that God will help us. Yes, because we cannot do anything on our own. So this is where we stopped last week. And this is the design that we want to try it and replicate. This is the design that we're trying to replicate the last time, right? So now I think what is left, okay, let me just do a recap. I think last time we met, we discussed about raster graphics and we discussed about vector graphics, and we established, we practicalized how Photoshop is a what? It's a raster graphics because it represents its own image with pixels, right? And we show that after we enlarge a particular font, and it tends to pixelate at some point when we unlike when we did the same thing in Illustrator, we saw that the same font maintains its originality. It does not pixelate, right? So that established the difference between raster softwares and vector softwares. Then also, I think we moved ahead to what is graphic design. And we said graphic design is about communicating ideas. It's about communication, right? So somebody come to you now, so with the mind of, okay, I want you to help me to communicate this in a visual way, right? So it's not about maybe you want to send the information back to them the same way they send it back to you. The same way they send it to you, right? You want to replicate it, represent it in a visual way, just like what we have on our screen now. This particular person must have engaged the designer. Please, I want to promote my burger, right? These are the information that should be on it to give to the designer, and this is what the designer now came up with at the end of the day. So, and that is what we are replicating tonight. And if you look at this thing now, almost every principle that we talked about in terms of emphasis, in terms of contrast, in terms of unity, we see everything working together. And we see repetition too. We see repetition in terms of color. We see red color being used. We see black color being used all around, right? We still see pattern at work. If you look at the background, we see them making use of pattern. We see negative space at work, right? So now there is a lot of spaces around the design. It's not too wordy, right? And we can see that the image, the burger itself, is what is more prominent in this design, and that's what we were trying to establish in the class. That your design must have something that will draw the attention of people, right? It must have a kind of focal point. And in this design now, we can see that the burger is the focal point, right? So now, and then we can see that there is also a call to action, right? So now after we've seen the picture, right? What do we want to see next? The price. Then after that, what order now? So it means that this design actually performed the function the designer intended it to perform, right? So now we are going to continue from where we stopped, and we can also see the element of the design at work. We see the font, which is this guy, the burger, the special spicy available, free drinks and price free, all of that, lorem this thing, blah blah. All of those are fonts, right? What is used to write all the prices is fonts. Order now 1, 2, 3. That is font at work, right? Then we have shapes too. Can you see this one, rectangle? This one has been manipulated, rectangle, but they now kind of subtract a kind of triangle from it, and it gives them this shape, right? So now we can see image at work. We can see all those elements at work in this design. So that is what we are talking about. Look at lines here. Drink and fries free. Can we see line at work? So now almost all those things work together to give us what we call a design that we can actually consume, right, as audience. So now let's move further. So where I think we have been able to is the price that we want to now, okay, we are the price. So it's just to have the price. So now the price is what? $4.99. $4.99. Remember, we said Photoshop works with in layers. It works in layers. For everything you create, Photoshop is going to create a layer for it. That's how it works, such that you can edit any of those elements independently without affecting anything. So let's check again. 4.99. The weight we are using is too much. Can we see now? Okay, now I think I was also explaining. Okay, I think I was also trying to explaining difference between a typeface and a what? And a font, right? So now typeface, I said, is the family name, right? The same way every one of us has our surname is the family name. Then we now have our other children in the family now have their own name, right? That is, we can say that, okay, every one of us we are now fonts, right? Then the family name is now what? Typeface. So now, and we can see it here. Let me show us. This one is only having one font now. But I want to show us something now. Can we see my screen? Can we see my screen, please? Can we hear me? Can we hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
now look at this place now. Look at this place now. The name of this typeface is what? Cabinet Grotesque, right? So now this is the family name and it is called typeface, right? But if you look at this place now, the front now, can you see this place? Is this a family name, right? But it now has different sizes and these are fonts, right? These are what? These are fonts. Black, extra bold, medium, regular light, extra light, thin. These are fonts. But this name now, Cabinet Grotesque, this is the typeface with different font width, right? With different font width. These are, we call them width. Can you see thin to extra light to light to all of this, right? So that is just it. That's just the difference between a typeface and a font in action. And if you look at this one too, I was also talking about tracking the last time. This is your tracking. That is the space between each character. I think I was able to explain that the last time before we call it today. So now the space between each character is what we call what? Tracking, right? So now let's move, let's proceed. So now what we want to do is we need that dollar sign, Abby. So let me see if I can get it. Okay, it works. So now dollar sign is on my keyboard. I just type it. Then let me reduce the size a bit. If you look at it, we want to, the $4 must be more bolder. It must carry more visual weight, right? And we are going to do that now. We are going to increase the font weight. That's what I want to do now. Can we see now? Can we see that the font weight has changed, has increased now? Let's make it more bolder. Let's play extra bold. Can we see now? Can we see that in action? It's now more prominent, right? Yeah, I think they have like 99. Notice something here. This is more like just a kind of manipulation. I want to show us something. 4 points. The price is 4.99, right? This is the price they have. Let's check what we are following. Can we see? Their own price is 4.99. Look at where the 99 is, right? So now meaning that they don't type the two together. They type them independently. They now move them until we can reduce the distance. Let's see if it's going to work. If it's not going to work, definitely we are going to manipulate it. So now all I will just do is just to highlight the part. I just want to reduce the size of this from this point to 99. I just want to reduce the size. And how will I go about that? 4.99, then I go to what? This a character. Can we see? This is the character, or you go to what? Option, properties. You can edit that you can achieve the same thing from either you choose property or you choose your character. But character is the best function to use, right? So we just click it. So now what we want to do is we want to reduce the font size. Can you see? Set font size. Can we see it? So now the first thing here is what? The first drop down here is what? Set font size. Set font size, right? So now the second one is what? Set leading. That is we call it line height. So if you have like maybe 2 lines, maybe you have maybe 4 lines of a sentence, right? So now if you want to reduce or increase the sizes between them, do you understand? Between them, you use what? This is the function you are going to use. Let me do that so that you can have a quick understanding of that. I'm coming. Let me quickly copy something so that you can see that in action. I want to quickly copy something. So now, let me pick this type 2, right? So now, because I want to type a kind of long something, long word, long sentence rather, so I can drag like this. Do we see it now? Control P. Let me change the color to black so that you can see it. So what will I do? I copied more than this information. Some are hidden. Can you see now? That's why you see it plus here. You see this plus here. It's because some of the content I copied online, some are still hidden, right? So what I need to do is what? Is to reduce the size so I can see the whole information that I copied. Can you see it now? I think that's all. So now, what do I want to do now? Let's say I want to align it to the left. Let me align it to the left. So you come to paragraph. This is character. This is paragraph. Should any of these things are not here, you can bring them out from is it window? Okay, from window. Can you see now that is marked here? That is why we are able to work with it at our panel area. Because this area now, this side now is panel area. Why this place is what? Tool area. Do we get it now? So now this is paragraph. If it's not marked now, we check it. Okay, it's still there. Or if it is not marked, right? Where is it? If it is not marked, it means that if it is not in this in this panel, right? What you have to do is just to go to your window and enable it. Do we get it now? Go to your window and enable it. It will show here from this side so that you can be able to access it. So now, if you look at it very well, this particular text that we have here is center align. Is center align. If we change it, if you choose this one now, it's moved towards center alignment. If we choose right, everything will float to the right. If we choose left, everything will float to the left. And if we choose center, everything will float to the what? To the center. So now, what I now want to explain is the leading. We call it leading, right? So now let's increase the leading. Can you see it? Can you see that the gap between those each line have increased? So now you can reduce it, or you put it at you leave it at auto default. So this is the default. For many a time, I used to manipulate it too, depending on how I feel that it's going to work for me. Personally, I used to manipulate it. But for now that you are just starting out, you don't need to manipulate it, because you may not get the actual stuff that will help you to pass that will help you to communicate the information very well. It is when you have now grown that you can now start manipulating all those things. Do we get it? Are we following? So now I'm just trying to show us some kind of other functionalities that you can still achieve with this character and the paragraph. So that's just that. Let me delete it. So I want to reduce this now, 4.99. I want to reduce the 9.99. What do I do? This is the what? This is where I can set the font size. I will just reduce it. Okay, I think we can achieve it from here. So now can we see it now? So now, but we see that this 4.99 is not that serious. We can reduce the weight of that font to what? Maybe something like medium. Can we see it? So now, then what do we do now? We can Control T. I said that if you want to reduce the size of anything, you want to move anything around, right? It's either we use this guy. So you use this guy. But because I also want to reduce the size, both of them are now having different sizes now. It will be difficult for me to now use this guy to increase the size because they are of different sizes. How many of us understand what I'm trying to say? So now, because they are not the same size now, I cannot say that, okay, I highlight the two and I now change the font size. It will not work. It will work, but everything, both of them are now still going to have the same sizes. They're not going to have the same size, which is not what I want. So now what I just have to do is just to Ctrl T, transform, right? And just hold my shift down and my alt. Then I use my mouse, to reduce it evenly. So it does not affect anything. Do we see it now? Do we get it? Hello? Can we hear me?
Yes,
hello?
sir.
Yes.
Do we get it? Do we get the analogy? Do we get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's move further then. So now this is the, okay, so now we are now left with only. Only is just to type only that is left now. Only. So now we can type anywhere on the canvas. We can type anywhere. Then we can now place it to wherever we want to place it. Only. But you discover that my text color is still white. That's why we cannot see, we are unable to see it. So what do? I go to my A, which is my character panel. I go there. Then can you see color here? This is where you change the color. Then you change it to what? Black first, so that you can be able to move it. Because if we don't change it to black, it will be difficult for us to locate where we place it because the background itself is white, right? So now what we now want to do is to move it now. You can Ctrl T, you can first increase the size, right? Increase the size. Then in fact, you can move it with, why it is still on transformation, you can move it like that. Do you get now? Then you can now reduce the size. Then you can now change it, shift this one up a bit, the 4.99. Then move the other one. My memory. Okay, let me close my browser. I don't have much space on my system. So now, what other things can I close? Okay. So now, let me now change this one to white. Hey, you. Can you see the problem that designers face, that we used to face now? You see what it's telling me now? It's saying that the memory of my system is full. Okay. Let me save it. Let me replace it. No. Save as PSD. Okay. So now let me just change this guy to white. In fact, I can leave this only as 4 points as black. It's just that if I leave it as black, it just means that I want to make the 4.99 to be more pronounced, right? But when you now change this font to white, it means we are going to be seeing the same thing at the same time. Can you see it now? Do we get that? Do we see what happened there? Initially, when this one was on black, right, it was only 4.99 that we were seeing, that was visible to us. But when we now change it to 4.99 only, we now make them the same color. We can see that both of them are now carrying the same visual weight, kind of, meaning that we can now see both of them at the same time. Do we get it now? So you can play with all those things. But most importantly, you must understand your color very well. Know the color that really works together. And that is why the color wheel is there for us. You can always go online. In fact, you can, if you are working with black, white, and red and this thing, you can just download one design online. Just use the color that they use on it, since it's the same kind of industry, right? For this thing, for your practice, that's what I mean. But if you are designing for a client, most of the clients, they have their color, they have their logo. So you just have to ask for their color. So they give you their color, then you start working with it. So that is that. Let's now go for another. Okay, so now what we are left with is what? Drink and fries free. Is to type all these ones. So let me type it here now. Why we still have this one then? So that we can see it. Drink and fries. No waiting. Plus 9 a.m. Okay. So the color is white. You can also change the color from here. Change it from here. So this is it. So and symbol. Okay. Then if you look at their own, the font weight is different from our own. So we also want to use, and I think the font they use is what? The typeface they use is what? It's Montserrat. We call it Montserrat. This is it. You see it? Montserrat. I think probably they use both. Then we need to reduce the size a bit. Right. Then left to me, I want to reduce the line in between them. Medium. In fact, personally, I can even remove, I can even change the color of the lines to maybe red, just to simply, just to mean that okay, I want to, it's a divider kind of, instead of having them all black. So this makes more sense compared to what we have in the shop. Instead of having it black. So let's make it red like it's here. So now this now shows that it's a divider. Do we see it now? It makes more sense. Okay, the open is not complete. Open at what? 9 a.m. Right? So we are cool. So now if you want to be sure that it's at the center, or this one now, so transform controls, this place that you are seeing here. Alignment is alignment. Alignment of objects is not text now. It's alignment of objects, which is your image, right? Your font after you have, when you are not typing on it. If you are typing here like this, and you will not be able to use that alignment. The alignment is to align every information. This alignment now is for every information that is on the canvas that we are working on, that's on the page that we are working on. Like for this one, you can click on it, right? And align it to the canvas, right? Just click on this canvas, then you click here. You will see something now. Align to the center. This is aligned to the center. Okay, can you see now? It's now centralized. But initially it was not. It was not. So now we can also click on this and make sure that it's already centralized. Can you see now? We can see that little change now. Are we following? So now I think the next thing they did is that they have one what's it called now? One rectangle here with colored rectangle, right? Colored rectangle. That is it. Then it's too curvy. Can we see now? So we can change the corner, the border radius of that rectangle. Either we increase it, can we see? Either we increase it like this, or we reduce it. Can we see it? This is a sharp what? sharp rectangle, but we can edit the radius, that is the edges. We can make it more smoother, right? Instead of, these sharp kind of edges. So that is what we call radius. So you increase it, let's say you change it to maybe 10, then you press enter. Can we see now? Can we see now? So now what is the information that we have from it? Order now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 9. Okay. So we also want to type our own. Let's increase the height of the, okay. So we are good like this. Is it looking like what they did? Is it looking like it already?
Yes, it's looking like it.
Okay. Okay. So now order now, I just typed that. Remember that I said Photoshop uses what? It uses layer, right? Everything that is on this thing now, you can work on them on each of them independently. Can you see pearls? Can you see pearls? Can you see burger? You can even hide it. If you want to hide it, can you see? You just click on this eyes symbol, eyes icon. It is hide now. You can also enable it, right? Can you see special offer? Can you see ellipse? Can you see it? I just blind that ellipse for you to know that everything that you see on this thing, they are in layers. Can you see 4.99? Can you see? Only everything you bring in to Photoshop, they are all of them will have their own layer. Except you now group them and convert them to what? Maybe convert them to objects. That's when they will now become one layer. So now as this one is now, it's not advisable that we convert them to what? To rasterize it, to convert them to image. Because for instance, if the price changes now, how are we going to be able to adjust the price? So it means that we have to redesign this area, right? So now that is why it's important to have our document. Either instead of rasterizing it, we can do what? We can convert it to smart objects. So that meaning that we can reassess the information if we convert it to smart objects. What will now just happen is when we convert it to smart objects, once we click on that thumbnail, I think I showed you the last time, it will open another window where you can now adjust the price. And once you now save it from that window, what happened? It commits on the name on the parent system. Yes, the document is the document itself, the main document itself. So now let's now order now. Okay, it's order now that is there. So what? Okay, let's reduce the size. So now when I want to reduce the size of this order now, what did I do? Control T, right? And I hold my Shift and my Alt on my keyboard. Then I pick one of the edges. Then I reduce it. Do we get it? Then you can now choose what? Increase the size. No, the weight. You see that weight is small. It's not visible very well. We want it to be more visible. So what we will do is just to increase the font weight. We are not changing the typeface. It's just to increase the font weight. But I can't find that. Okay, let me search. I think they are not together. Okay, it's the same intro, but they are not together. The font weight are not together at the same, like the other one that we saw. The cabinet, what's the name? Cabinet grotesque. Okay, yes. They are not together, but you can see it here. Just locate it and use it. So you may not have all this font on your own system. You can, I'm sure that you won't have majority of them on your system. So it's because I've worked with them. When I saw somewhere, I downloaded them, and that's why I'm able to use them now. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So assuming this is the phone number. So let's increase the size. So what we now want to do is we want to reduce the weight of the order now Paris. So we want to the typeface. We only want to change the font with, right? So let's search for intro. Where is it? Okay. Okay, I think this is better. This is better. Now we can see that it's kind of too. We cannot. Okay, what we can apply to this instead of increasing the size. Instead of increasing the size like this. Instead of increasing the size like this. Well, another thing we can do is we can now make use of what? We can make use of our tracking, right? We can just increase the tracking. Can we see it? We can increase the what? The space between each of those characters. Can we see it now? Which make more sense. So instead of using what's it called now? Instead of increasing it, making it more bigger, we can just adjust the what? The gap between each character. Yes, the gap between what each character, right? That's what we just did. And I think we are fine. Another thing we can do to this thing is that we, instead of having just this guy alone, order now, and we can put a call icon. We can download a call icon on Google and just put it here. And just put it here. So people will know that, okay, you want to order, you are going to order by, by calling us. That is more specific compared to just making your audience to now start thinking, what should I do? This is just an ordinary number. What do I want to do with it? But if we now put maybe a telephone icon beside this guy now, it makes more sense. People don't need to be thinking again. So now those are the challenge with this design now. It's not that they don't follow the normal thing they're supposed to follow, but there are things that customers still have to be wondering, what should I do? What should I do next? But as a designer, you don't want your customers to start thinking of what to do when they see your design, right? So you provide them with necessary information that they needed to see, that we help them to take the action you want them to take. So that is just it. You can see that we've started to be criticizing this design now. We are now criticizing it because we know that from what we've learned now, we know that okay, this thing is not too good. We have the icon here to make more sense. Look at another adjustment we've made to it, and this is innovation. This is you adjusting what is in existence before. In fact, I can say that okay, my own, no, I don't want to do it like this. Instead of having this guy like this, I can do it like this. I can have the red like this. I can now put maybe terms and conditions applied under it. Do you get it now? So it's not there is nothing new under heaven. That's just the sincere truth. But it's just little changes and all and then. So when you are now good, very well, hey, you can now start coming up with content on your own. You think about how do I want to arrange this thing, and you just arrange it based on what you have seen. Based on what you have seen, right? Based on what you have fed your eyes with. You will get it now. But let's follow what they did actually, so that we know that we are done. Okay, so what else now? I think it's just one. Okay, I'm not sure we are just going to use a box to represent this barcode. Then we go and copy one lorem if some testing. Okay, let me quickly do that because we don't have much time again. Okay, let's reduce the size of this one. Let's reduce the size. Let's reduce it. Let's change the typeface now. Let's change it to Montserrat. Right, let's now reduce the size. I can't find the So, okay. Are we still following, please? Okay, I think this is okay. And Control T to reduce the size evenly. Control T, then change the font weight to something that can be visible. That people can see clearly. I'm trying to adjust this. I pick the two, then I reduce this the size. So we can have more space to get for the other information. So now what else do we have to do? So we have okay, the barcode. Let's just use maybe a rectangle, a square. Square. Let's just give it a border radius of 5, Abby. You don't want it to have sharp background as such, sharp edges. Yes. Okay. It's like they use one gray background underneath here. So let's also do that. And I will show you how to achieve that now. We can achieve that. Let's just go to our background. The first layer. Let's go back to the first layer. This is the first layer. So now to create a new layer now underneath, you can create empty layer that you can fill with color, right? Let's say, for instance, this is a layer. This is a layer. I can create a new layer. So now I want to have just created a new layer under this words. Above the background, our background. This is it now. So now what we can do now, if you look at this one very well, the one that we are replicating, it's like they use gray color here. That is why this white is able to show very well on it. This white is visible, because if we place white square on a white background, it will not show. And that is why they use what gray at as their own background here. Do we get it now? But we are not going to achieve the same thing. So now what I want us to do now is that I want us to pick this exact gray that they use here. And the way to do that is to do what? Go to this place, right? Go to this place, set foreground color. Click on it, on this box now. Can we see it? Can we see this place? Hello? Hello?
We can see it. We can see it.
Okay, you can see it. Okay, just click this place. So you are still going to watch the recording later anyway, so that you can follow very well. So now, click this place. And you now do what? You cannot pick color. This is a color picker. Can you see something like pencil? It's a color picker. So you can use to pick this color. So now, I have to be able to pick this color. Then what do? I highlight that color, and I right-click, and copy it. Are we following? Right-click and copy it. That's fine. Then I blind this one again. Just click here. So what am I now going to do? What I'm going to do now is that I will go back to my new layer that I just created. Click on it. I will now go to my we call something, this is it, brush tool. So now we use it to what? You can use it to apply color to any surface. You can use it to draw, but you can also use it to paint. Most of the time you use brush tool to paint. So now we now want to paint that background. We want to paint it with what? With that same color. But what you are now going to do is that, look at this place. Immediately we click on this on this brush tool. Some stuff, you have some information, you have some properties that displayed very close to your menu bar here. So now this one, you are going to click this one that has value 200 value. You are going to click on it, this drop down arrow. Click on it. Then you can now choose the sharpness of your brush tool. So that we don't want the one that is very sharp like this. All this one are sharp. They are sharp. So now we want the one that is soft. We want the one that is what? Can you see that all these ones are okay? This one is soft, round, pressure, opacity, and flow. So now this is the one that we want to use. Something like this. But you look at this one, they are add. Meaning that if we use it, it's going to give us like sharp something, add something like this, add shape, right? So now it's going to be feasible very well. But let's use this one, right? Let's use this one. But it's too, the size is too much. You can adjust the size here as well. So now when you watch that video tutorial that I shared with the link with Mr. Anu, you'll be able to understand this thing better. So now can you see that it's too much? The brush is too much. So now we have to reduce it. Okay, this still makes sense. So you can now start painting. And now start painting it. Can you see it? Can you see it? So now meaning that, in fact, this is our background now. This our test pattern is we will have to reduce the opacity a bit, right? The visibility. We have to reduce the visibility. Can you see now? We reduce it to 2% now, which makes more sense. So that we can now see that our white is now showing here. I didn't think we have that back. We have just put it there. Well, I'm going to do something. I'm going to Control J. I want to duplicate that rectangle. I'm going to Control T. Then I will now hold my Shift and my Alt key, so that I can have even kind of a scale. Enter. Then I double click on this guy. Double click on it. Right? I double click on that what? On that rectangle, on that shape. Layer thumbnail. So once it shows layer thumbnail like this, you can double click on it. Double click on it. So meaning that you cannot use color picker to pick any color that you want, or you adjust it yourself. You can move it around. Or you can do like this. Yes. If it is this color that you want to pick, or maybe color on this burger, can pick it. Can you see now? Can pick any color. Can use it to pick any color and apply to your design. Right? So let me use black so that we can get something close to what they are. Then let's reduce this. Okay, I think this works. So let's reduce this one a bit as well. So now I hope we are following. Then Control J. So we now reduce the information here. So let's reduce the information a bit. Then increase the size. Come to your character, then increase the size. I told us that if you can't find the character here, where are we going to get it? You go to what? To your window panel, then you enable it. So when you see something like mark behind it, it means that it's showing. Right? It means that what it is showing. So that is that. If I'm going to do this, I will ensure that the space between each of these elements, the space between this rectangle and this guy, this test here, and the shape between this white rectangle square and this test here, they are the same. I will try and make sure that I achieve the same, space between them, right? So it makes your design look more strong. You get it now. So let's now move this one down a bit. Let's go back to the design. Okay, what is it that is wrong with our own? It's like our own is not as fine as their own. Okay, let me do something. It's like our own is kind of too. Okay, so now we can now shift this guy up a bit. Can now shift this guy up a bit. It's looking like it. So now I think another thing they now did is what? I think that's all. So that's all. So now, okay, free delivery. We also have free delivery here. Free delivery here. giving us rounded something, but we can remove it from here. So after we have drawn this thing now, you can see that the properties are shown here under property, meaning that you can reduce the radius. The radius. Then change the color, fill color. I think I explained this the last time. Fill color to red. Then we can now type the information that we have on it. We can now type it here. Free delivery, right? Oh, sorry. Free delivery. So click on it. Ctrl T. I want to reduce the size. You can see. Ctrl T. You know, it is under it because what's it called now? The free delivery is under, the layer of free delivery is under that of the rectangle. It means that we have to move this free delivery up if you want it, if you want it to show, right? We move to the top. Can you see now? It's at the top now. That is why we are able to see it. So you can arrange your what? Your layer. Let's reduce the size. And let's change the fonts to what? To Montserrat's. So we can also change it to capital letter here, all caps. Don't worry, we get all of this thing when we watch that video. We will understand all those tools, how they work and all of that. So now we can now change the color to white. So now we are not going to be doing, I can do that, what's it called? That triangular something that they did by using my pen tool. Just do like this. It may not be perfect, but we can still achieve something at least. Can you see now? Then what do I do next? I change the color. Click on this guy. Then can you see fill color? Can you see property here? Very close to the menu bar. Click on it. Then you change it to white. Can you see? Then you switch this off. It's not perfect, but it's still close to what they have. Increase this one. It's kind of when we watch the video, we understand it better. So you can now start focusing and be doing what. Can we see now? Are we almost done? Are we almost? Do we get what they did?
Yes, yes, sir.
I think we try. It's just that their own color, they apply a kind of gradient to their red. It's not their own red is not as bright as our own. Can you see their own red? This is their this is their own red. Can you see? So now I've tried to use color picker to pick the exact red that I use. Can you see now?
Yes.
It's now more kind of. It now looks more like the same thing. Can you see now? At least to an extent, we try a bit. So another thing we can do is I feel top also needs to be more a bit darker. We go to our brush tool. We increase the size of our brush. You can also increase the size of your brush by using the where you have curly brackets on your keyboard, like less than and greater than that icon, that particular key on your keyboard. You can use it. You see, it look now more. It's now looking like it's more. Can we see now? So I think we almost did what they did. I think we are fine like this. We try a bit. So we are going to thank God that the video is the class is a recorded class, so meaning that you can still go back and rewatch this tutorial. So now we have come to the end of this one. Let me just show us Illustrator before we call it a night. Mr. Anu?
Yes, sir. Well done, sir.
Yes, sir. So now, Alpha, can we still check just to brush through Illustrator this night before we?
Yes, we can. We can just run through the interface. That's very fine,
okay.
sir.
Okay. Let me just, I think we are done with this, so you can always rewatch this thing. And then if you now have any question, maybe at some point you are unable to get any of these things, but make sure that you first watch that. Mr. Anu will send you the link of the how to use this tool, because it's important. We are not doing anything. I'm telling you the truth. We are just replicating, honestly. But if you are able to get the tool, how to use the tool very well, all these ones, placement of all these things will not be an issue for you. Do we get it now? So it may seem as though maybe I'm performing any magic. I'm not doing any magic. I'm telling you, it's because I know how to use the tool and I know what they are being used for. That's why I've been able to move around quickly like that. So once you master the tool very well, then it will be easier for you to create anything with them. Do you understand now? Then the more you create, the more you understand, right? The more you understand all those things. So let's save this one and let's just open photo, what's it called? Illustrator. So now I want to launch my Illustrator now, just to show us the, okay, just to show us how Illustrator interface look like. Then now I will also try and look for the Illustrator interface. Basically, Illustrator is basically used for branding projects. Let me just start explaining. It's basically used for what? Branding projects, or maybe branding project or illustration. So you want to draw. Some people have this kind of tab that they use. It's because it's a vector-based software, so you can draw anything with any shape. Yeah, right. You can use shape to draw what? To draw human being, to draw animal, to draw anything with Illustrator. So that is just the work of Illustrator for branding project or for illustration projects, right? And if you are now somebody that maybe you are now into this thing very well, you will still be introduced to Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe After Effects. So now when you need any icon, maybe any shape in After Effects, you come to Illustrator, you create that shape, right? You now move it to what? You move it to what? Your Illustrator. To your After Effects rather. So now let me share my screen now, so you can see it's almost the same thing. It's almost the same thing. Can we see now? This is the interface of Illustrator. Can we see my screen now? This is the interface. It's almost the same thing as what we have initially, as what we have in Photoshop. It's almost the same thing as, in fact, if you can master Photoshop, you will be able to use Illustrator. I'm telling you. But the only difference between that you can see here is that on Photoshop, their own create new is blue background. But this one is what? It's just an outline that they use. Do you understand? Because they know that this one is for professionals, right? So you must always find your way around it. So you get. So now we can create a new document, or we can also open a new document. So, but for now, we are going to create a new document. The same way we set up our document. Can you see? The same way that we have it in Photoshop, saved, mobile, web. So now say I want to design for print now. I just click on this print. So look at all these templates. I can edit it. Can you see templates? Can you see now? It's for you to know that this guy is basically for what? Printing. Can you see all the things that you can achieve with Illustrator? Can you see? Can you see them? Can you see them? I'm the only one that designed this, so it came with the software. So now, say for instance, it's A4 that you want to work on. You just click A4. Then look at this color mode. When we launched Photoshop the last time, it was what? RGB that was here. But this time around, this one is CMYK color mode because it's a vector-based software. Do you get it now? And you can now change you can see this one. This is the resolution. The highest one is 300 ppi, right? You have medium, you have screen, you have, can you see now? But in Photoshop, they can allow you to change the resolution to maybe 1000 self. You understand my point now? Then you create. When you are done, you give your project a name, then you change the dimension, the size you are working with, the width and the length, the width and the what, and the height of your project. All right, maybe it's 500 by 500. You put it here. When you are done, you just click on on create. Let's see what it's going to bring now. Oh, somebody wants to wait. We see now, this is an A4 paper size. Do we get it? This is an A4 what? A4 paper. Can we see the same thing? The same way we have our tool at our on our left-hand side and have our panel at our right-hand side, the same way we have it in Illustrator. Can we see it now? The same way we have it in Illustrator. So now, what you just want to do is the same thing, honestly speaking, but it's just the tools that are different and what you can do with them. Here, I want to create a love. I want to create a love icon, love this thing now, love sign, no, love shape now. Can you will see something now? I'm going to, there is one tool that we call shape builder tool. Can you see? So now what I need to do is I just duplicate this, Control C, Control F. Their shortcuts are different anyway. If you want to copy in Illustrator and you want it to be at the front, Control C, Control F means that copy and place at the front. Front means F, C means copy. Control C, Control F. Then you can now, there is no room for Control T here in Illustrator. It's only in Photoshop that you are going to Control T before you can have this, can rotate your words, your document, your any shape or any object. So now this one is already there. You can now use your shift to get perfect rotation. Can we see it now? This is already a cross. So now say you want to merge these things together. Or you want to give it, can you see now? When I highlight it now, you can see that we can now form different shapes from this thing. One shape, two second shape. In fact, we have 5 square here, and we can now give them different colors. And it is shape builder tool that will help you to do that. People want to join over. Mr. Kitaro. I'll take you. It's in there. Okay, admit. Okay. Imagine the person has been waiting since. Apology for that, please. I just saw that you have been waiting for us to let you know. So now, can you see now? So now we use something. This is what we call shape builder tool. In fact, this is the most common tool that you'll be using with your shape to build anything. Can you see the way it works? Can you see the example here? Can you see it? So now they draw different circles. Can you see? Can you see that video? Can we see it? Can we see how look at it now? It now formed something like a cloud at the end of the day. So now click on this shape builder tool. Then you can choose it. Click on each of them. Then you can now see something now. Can you see now? This now is separate what? Can you see? You cannot do this. You may not be able to do this in Photoshop. In fact, you can't even do it in Photoshop. That's the truth. You can't do it in Photoshop because Photoshop will not give you this flexibility. It's only what? It's only Illustrator that can give you this flexibility. That is why Photoshop Illustrator is used for what? For logo design. This can be a logo of a company. It can be a logo of what? Of a company. Or in fact, it's even looking like a box, an open box. Just put the name behind it, beside it. Type the name beside it. That's all. Let me show you the one. I'm working on a project already. I'm trying to document this thing. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, this HMO. Let me see. Let me show you now. I'm trying to open it. This is the way I did the logo. Telling you, it's not open. I think I don't have space to open it. I don't have enough memory to open it. Oh, I did one recently. Okay, let's see if this one is going to be okay. Okay, can we see this logo? Can we see this logo? Hello, are we with me? Hello, are we all with me? Can you see this logo? Sir. Look at this logo now. I created this logo in Illustrator. And by using what? Wow. By using your, what's it called now? Your pen tool to draw maybe how many lines like that? How many lines? No, but before you arrive at this concept, that is the work that is there now. Can you see? This Illustrator for you. It gives you that flexibility to draw anything. So what will I do now? It removes the bottom. I've gotten the lines, right? I draw a circle. Then by clicking on any of this edge, let me click on the top here. Can you see the node? Can you see the node? The 4 nodes, right? You can see the 4 nodes. 1, 2, 3. Then you can click on one of them. Can you see? So now, after you have been able to click on it, you will see that it will change. That shape will change. It will have something like a square under it. It means that you have been able to successfully click on that node. Click on it. Can you see now? You can manipulate it by clicking on any of these what's it called now? This circle now. Click on any of those angles. Can you see? This is something. This could be logo of somebody of a company. I'm telling you the truth. But what I want to do is I just want to delete this part. Click. You can. So now once you are able to successfully click on that node, what do? Click on backspace on your system or your keyboard. Bam. Can you see it? That's what I just did. And what happened? I just bring it here like this. And I arrange it very well. Can we see? Then after that, I duplicate it. In fact, I can even remove this one and just Ctrl+C, Ctrl+F, then move it towards to the right. Can you see that I'm even creating a font now? This is W. On my own, this is what Illustrator will allow you to do. You can draw anything with Illustrator. I'm telling you the truth. You can draw anything with Illustrator. It gives you that flexibility. So this may not be perfect anyway. So now the perfect one is that. Can you see W? In fact, we have people use it to type B now. Can you see? By flipping it, 3 or B. So now you want to get your B very well. You can now still use this your same pencil tool. Click on it, then pick one of the. Okay, so now can you see now? Click on that edge where we've deleted half of it. So now this thing still has that node. Can you see? This line now, inner line. So you can still now click on these points and continue drawing. Do you get it now? You can still click on this point and continue drawing. Click on it, bam, your pencil tool. Then click on it. Can you see that node? Click on it. Then you hold your shift so that you can get a straight line. Hold your shift. Can you see now? Do the same thing to the other one. Can you see? So now what I want to do is I want to draw B. Then you now want to close everything now. Click on this guy, this node, bam. Then you drag it down. Can you see? We just created our B. So Illustrator can help you. I can create A to Z with Illustrator because it's a vector-based software. So you work with lines and shape. We can create the love that I was saying that we should create now. Let's complete it. Let's complete that love. Now you will see something. You will see it now. So now I'm coming. Can you see? This can be a logo. In fact, you would have seen logo like this before, I'm sure. This could be a logo, right? But there must be a story behind it. So now, I want to create, okay, love. This can even help us to form our love. No, this is not what I want. So, okay, let me do this. Okay. So now this one word, rectangle, then Ctrl+C, Ctrl+F to duplicate it, then flip it by holding your shift so that you can get perfect, how do I put it now? Can you see it now? Then highlight everything together, rotate it like this. So now rotate it like this, then you now locate your what? Your shape builder tool here. Are we together? Locate it here. Then you can now, when you hold your shift or your alt key on your keyboard, can you see? It's already plus, right? This means that you can use it to join everything together, right? You can use to join, you can use this guy, this shape builder to join shape together or to subtract shape from another. So now, if you hold down your Alt now, you see that plus has changed to minus. It means that you want to subtract that part from the rest. Then you click on your what? On your mouse, left click. Can you see that it's gone? Can you see that it's gone? So now you can do the same thing to this one. We also want to delete this one. You can also what? Click on, now left click. After holding your Alt, it's changed to what? The cursor changed from what? From plus to minus. Then you click it, then you click, then you mouse click. So now what is left that we now want to do is that we want to try and manipulate this edge, right? What you now do is, there is we have two tools here. We have selection tool and we also have direct selection tool. So now direct selection tool help you to adjust anchor points. These are anchor points. All this place now. These are anchor points. This is an anchor point. This is an anchor point, right? This is an anchor point. 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 Can you see? So you can adjust it. So now we just highlight these two anchor points together. Then I will now drag it in. Can you see? I drag it in. Then I do the same thing here. Drag it in like so. Can you see now? It does not look like love perfectly, but if this is more, let's make it more like love. Can you see now? Can you see? Can you see love? Then we just delete this part. Hold down your Alt, then click it. Hold down your Alt, then subtract it. Then you can now join everything together. Can you see? Join everything together. Then you now give it what? Color. That's Illustrator for you. Very sweet. I love working with Illustrator. Can you see? Then you can flip this guy. Ctrl-C, Ctrl-F. Then you can also still Ctrl-C, Ctrl-F, then still flip it. Can you see now? Much like something that all our ladies used to use to bang their like a flower now. Can you see it now? So you can form anything with Illustrator. You can create anything. You can give this one another color. Give this one something, something reddish a bit. So you can form anything. You can print this on the clothes. You can print this on anything. You can use this to form pattern. Right? We made mention of something, our repetition and pattern. You can use this guy to form pattern by repeating it. Right? You use it to form a pattern. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see a pattern now? Then you can print this on your t-shirt, especially our sisters that are here. You can print it on any of your clothes, right? So this is Illustrator for you. So what I want you to do now is just go and I will send a link. I will look for a very good Illustrator video link on YouTube that you can just be watching once in a while, right? So maybe after you have now perfected it, maybe we can now jump on a call and create something with it together. Maybe that's what I'm going to still want to do for everybody. I'm happy to do it if we are ready to do it. Mr. Anu, I think we can stop here. It's already 8:30.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We also appreciate the resources.
Can you see it? So this project is still ongoing, right? This project is still ongoing. It's one of the I designed for one brand like that. The brand that I was telling you that we've not seen since I've been designing for them more than 2 years ago. We've not seen ourselves. And I've been designing for them. It's a kind of continuous something. So you can decide to help them to design this logo as part of our work. You understand now? So it's part of it. So now this one, if I'm going to charge maybe any company now consult me now, I'm the one that decide the direction of that logo. I'm the one that decide everything. You know the money I'm going to charge them. So that is it, please. Nothing is, no knowledge is waste. We don't know where we are going to find ourselves. Okay, now. So I'm done for now, Mr. Anu. So
All right, sir. Again, I want to say thank you for making out time to engage us again on this session. I don't know, probably there's any background noise from my end. I'm on the road, so sorry about the noise.
no, I
And,
don't think so.
Yes, sir. I also want to sensitize everybody from Bells University that we can really do better. And when other opportunities like this come on, we should jump on it. We should really, really jump on it. Like Mr. Elijah mentioned yesterday, that I spent 100,000 naira to learn graphic design as an individual, not even as a group of people. And now we have the opportunity to learn it for free. By God's grace,
And they did not even show me anything on this. They did not even design anything. We didn't design anything.
Oh, a few of them did. Maybe I would ask for what they did and then share.
Okay, no problem, sir. No problem, sir. No problem.
A few of them did, but then yes, sir. So
no problem,
by
no problem.
I trust that we would have another great time discussing.
Yes, definitely. Definitely, sir.
Oh,
please, we are going to share the video link to you so that they can rewatch.
Oh, all right, sir. Once I have it, I would share all the resources.
Do you get it? We are going to...
And the one you suggested for illustrator.
I will get that across too.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I will get that across too. I will look for the best one and I'll show. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you. See you next time.
All right, sir. Thank you. Mr. Yola, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Do have a wonderful night rest.
Thank you, and you too, sir. And please don't forget to send the document so that we can process.
It's okay. It's all right.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.